So this is why I borrow money. I can handle paying about $90. Let's just round it up to $90 to borrow $20,000. Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's O'Neil from Tap to O'Neil. Another week, another $1,000. Man, you guys know what's been going on. It's been another rough week. I'm not even gonna waste no time going over all the extra stuff. It's been crazy this past month. You know, as I said, my portfolio is extremely volatile, so we've been down. Let's see how much we're down on the week. We up on the day actually. Up on the day, you know, crypto's showing signs of recovery. Wow, we actually cracked 54. I was watching this a little bit before we started recording. We was at high 53s. Now we just cracked 54. We went back down to 53, but yeah, crypto's having a little bit of a recovery over the weekend. This is Sunday, as you guys know. See how we down almost 11K on the week. Jeez. Crazy, right? Like I said, always, you know, start off the week strong and then just dip as the week goes down. So we back in the 50K range, which is crazy because we just hit our 100, not too long ago, and then it's all right. So where did we peak or where did we bottom out? We bottom out at 49. So we seen 49 this week, down as much as $15,288. That's a 23.55% drop. And then as always, Fridays, we start to level out and recover. And then always on the weekends, crypto does have some signs of recovery. So the market might pump fake on Monday. So I want to, put that as a disclaimer. It might pump fake on Monday, but we don't know. Like I said, this government shutdown is really spilling into different sectors of the, market, and it's really starting to take a toll. And I honestly feel like this government shutdown might plunge us into a recession, if I'm being honest. I'll make a separate video on that. I'll talk about that, separately at a different point in time. But it's getting bad. Like, people are losing their jobs. People are not being able to afford rent. It's a lot. It's a lot. Let's see how much we down on the month. Down nearly 30K on the month. Jeez. $27,839 to be exact. Alright. And this was okay, so that was before we hit our 100K. So yeah, that was a little over a month ago we hit that. So our buying power is sitting at $2,822 right now, and it's only down that little bit. Well, it's only that little amount right now is because, as you guys can see, we have a Nvidia call option that we're going to be opening up come Monday. So if you guys are interested in some of the call options that I have, of course there's some of them right here, and then I have this Nvidia X call option, which is a leverage ETF that tracks Nvidia. I bought it and I placed it for 2 years out, so I'm going to be controlling about 200 shares of this leverage position on Nvidia. I really think this company is going to do numbers in a couple of years right now, especially since it has some pullback. I took advantage. So this is a call option that I pretty much have out. As I said, my buying power is at $2,822.03. We got a margin buffer of 9%, 9.25%. I'll show you guys real quick. 9% buffer, and our margin total is going up slightly. So we have $20,527 margin total, and our margin used, it did go down. It's been fluctuating because I've been using more buying power to take advantage of these dips in the portfolio, dips in the market as a whole. I've been buying a lot more. I'm going to show you guys when we dive into the mobile version of the app. I'm going to show you guys exactly what positions I bought. I've been doubling down on some positions and stuff like that, and obviously buying calls, which I made the call out in that short that I put out a little bit earlier this week. Margin used, as I said, is at $15,329.81. Pending orders. So yeah, that's the pending order. So we got about $2,376 going into this Nvidia play, this leverage Nvidia play for set to about 2 years out, and our futures buying power is at $705. So let's go ahead and make our weekly 1K deposit. view transfer. I'm trying to make this. I'm trying my best, y'all. I'm trying my best to make this as short as I possibly can. I know I can ramble, and just go on and on. Oh, we going back to this gold entries. Okay, we got 1,000 entries of gold. I guess they doing a little thing again. I didn't win any gold last time. Let's see what the account is sitting at now. All right, so we have $55,024.84. As I said, we're up $1,287 on the day. Our buying power went up 6,800. That was about 4K. Our buying power increased by $4,000. As I said, my buying power fluctuates and it really goes up and down because I have a lot of leverage in a position. So when I deposit a lot more, make any deposit, it's gonna significantly increase my buying power because of my leverage positions, and I'm down significantly on one position. You guys know that position is going to be MSTR, specifically MSTU. So our margin total went up to $23,527, up $3,000 from that 20K that it was at previously. Our margin used definitely went down $1,000. As you guys know, every time I deposit $1,000, this decreases the margin used. So we're at $14,329.81. Pending order is still the same. Buying power went up for the futures $1,000. As you guys know, margin buffer went up to $3,862.14. So we got a 12% margin buffer right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and deep dive into the portfolio on the mobile version of the app. So stay tapped in, and we're gonna switch over. All right. So as I said, we have 55,000 right now. Crypto is showing signs of recovery, and that's a good sign for us. Crypto making signs of recovery. Bitcoin, let me show you guys real quick. Bitcoin dropped to like $98,000 this week. Bitcoin dropped to 98,000 this week. That's crazy. Where was it? 98,000. So it dropped below the 100K. And then you guys know I've been calling out the support levels. Let's see what it was at. I've been calling out a support level at 108, if I'm not mistaken, and it broke that support level. I called that out about a week ago. Broke that support level, so we had some more downwards momentum, and it pushed past the floor. And then our new floor is looking like 98,000. So anytime Bitcoin dips below 100K, bulls are definitely going to be going in and scooping some coins up and pushing this up. But you guys know crypto is extremely volatile. I don't personally reinvest back into any crypto. Reason being because it does mess with my buying power, and I'm more so into trading options. So that's the reason why I kind of stay away from buying into crypto. But it's still definitely a good asset to have or invest into. And even if you're not going to be investing into the crypto coins specifically or directly, get into a crypto ETF. So I did buy some calls. I did roll some of my options. I rolled last week. I had a $3.5 call. I took some losses, and I also bought this new PLTW call, a $44 call on PLTW. I bought it for $500, and this is a year out. And I'm currently down on the position, but you can't focus on being down right now. I'll show you guys why I bought it. So the $44 call, the breakdown on that, my break even is going to be $49. And you guys know PLTW definitely hit over $50 within the past few months, but I'm taking advantage of this bear market and purchasing calls a year out because I know this stock or this ETF, whatever you want to call it, whatever stock or ETF you want to invest into, especially if it's a value stock like Palantir is. In my opinion, I really believe strongly in Palantir that it is a value stock, and it's definitely going to be trading a lot higher a year from now. Same thing with Nvidia. You're crazy to invest, or you're crazy to bet against Nvidia, because Nvidia is like one of the driving forces and driving factors of the new day and age in the market. So definitely would have some Nvidia in your portfolio. Palantir also, you guys know, it is a AI data company with a lot of government contracts. So that was the play on that. And I bought some more calls on MSTU. I bought this real sweet $1 call. This was about 2 years out. So 2 years out. So about 2027. Down only $28, obviously, because this position is golden. My break even is at $2.70, and MSTU is trading at $2.36. So whenever this swings, I'm definitely going to be up. This is going to be make sure I control about 400 shares of MSTU, even though I have about 7,600 shares. It's crazy, but gold started recovering just a little bit. When the entire market went down, gold started recovering, and there was an announcement for Tesla. They got that $1 trillion package for Elon Musk. So I definitely would hold some Tesla in my portfolio if I was you guys. I'm just saying, I wouldn't bet against the richest man in the world, and I wouldn't bet against one of the richest valued companies in Nvidia in the world either. So definitely gonna hold that, and I wouldn't bet against crypto either. So Nugget down about $900 on this position. As I said, it's recovering, and if we do plunge into a recession, definitely gonna be taking profits from this. Gold is definitely going to be performing good. TSLL is doing what it does. My MSTU position, so I'll show you guys for full transparency. Down nearly 20, well, over 21,000, 22,000 on this position between my option plays and just my position as a whole. You guys know my average cost is at $5.11. Current market value is at $17,936. And I did take some realized losses. See, I did try to sell a put on MSTU at $2.5, but I didn't want to get assigned this put, so I ended up taking a realized loss of $450. So they paid me out about $100 in credit, and then I took a realized loss because MSTU just plunged, and I not want to take the assignment. Even though the assignment would have helped me dollar cost average, it just would have put me way too much in leverage, so I just took the loss on the chin and just kept it moving from there. So that's MSTU. TSLY, let's see, we're up still on this position. Average cost is $7.78 with a total return of $119.44. And our payout this week was $58.92. That is a breakdown of about 14 cents per share, and we hold 400 shares. Next, YMAX. We're down on this. YMAX has been really taking a hit. But let's see what our payout this week was. Payout this week was $17.60, which is not too bad. Breakdown on that is about 17 cents per share, and we only hold about 101 shares on YMAX. Coney's been taking another beating too. We're down 1K on this position, $1,042.27 with an average cost of $7.43, and we currently hold 600 shares. I doubled down, bought some more shares of Coney, and I don't know. Coney is one of those other ones that I'm a little worried for, that it may not be able to recover as fast as the others. But our dividend payout this week was $53.27, which is a breakdown of 8 cents per share, and we held about 600 shares to get that payout. Hui, another dark horse. I love Hui. I honestly believe in Robinhood long term. So even though we're currently down on the position, down $329.31, I believe in this this company Robinhood. We're obviously investing in the brokerage firm Robinhood, so it's good to have it in your portfolio. Our payout this week was $75.96. That's a breakdown of $1.26. Man, this thing has been killing it. Only holding about 60 shares at the time, so we're definitely going to be purchasing at least one more share, and it's definitely a good buying opportunity. So PLTW, we double dipped. We've been buying more shares. We're at 80 shares now. I definitely want to get to about 100 shares. We got an average cost of $45.49, which is close to where it's trading at right now, where it closed out at, which is $43.15. As I said, I mentioned I bought that call on it. The last call we bought on PLTW did perform really good. We got some profits from it. Our payout this week was $49.68, which is a little bit is it down from where we was the previous week? Let's see. Yeah, previous week we was at $71.20. So the breakdown this week is going to be 68 cents per share, and we held 73 shares at the time. So we're at 80 shares now, and I do reinvest back into this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go switch over to traditional IRA. It's been down, if I'm not mistaken. It did recover last day of Friday closing. Recovered a little bit, but we're down about $415 on the week. I did, if you guys didn't notice, I did get rid of my ULTY shares. I'm done with ULTY. I'm definitely gonna be changing this traditional IRA up, but I'm not too sure how I'm gonna be doing it. So I'll update you guys what I'm gonna do with this portfolio specifically. But our ULTY position on this, we hold about 901 shares, down about $924, and we do have reinvestment on. So when we do get our dividend payouts, we do purchase more shares, and our average cost is $5.61, which is not too bad. I don't know. Our payout was $69.79, which is a breakdown of 7 cents. So they went from 10 cents to 9 cents to 8 cents, and now we're at 7 cents per share. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's sustainable to keep this position. You guys know last week I sold out, or the previous week I sold out of Misty, and then last week or this week I sold out of ULTY in my main portfolio. So that's pretty much how it's been doing, down $535 on the month, and on the week $415. Our Roth IRA, see how that's performing. As I said, we cracked that $4,000 mark. Still got about 3K left to max this portfolio out, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3K left. Down about $50 on the week, which is a drop of a 1.2%. On the month, still up. Past 3 months, we're still up. Year to date, still up 10.29%. In past year, 10.31%. And this is all in a bear market. So when the market does recover, we're definitely going to be looking at a bigger gain, I guess. SCHD, we hold SCHD, JetQ, and SCHG. SCHD and JetQ is built for dividend income for my retirement when I get to those later years. Look, Bitcoin just hit over 105, so nice recovery. And SCHG is built for growth in this portfolio. You guys have been telling me I should more so invest into SCHG, and I don't know. I'm listening. I'm listening to y'all. And I'm not putting y'all ideas down. I'm definitely not doing that by any means. But I definitely will be exploring more options and seeing what I can do with this portfolio. Like I said, this is specifically for my retirement, to make sure I'm good during retirement. I get at least a check for something when I retire. And you guys know I invest $8.40 into JetQ and SCHD on a daily basis, and on a weekly basis I put $6 into SCHG. So yeah, that pretty much covers the Roth IRA. Let's go ahead and dive into the overall account and see what everything is sitting at. I know we down from all-time high, so it's not gonna look pretty, man. I know it's not gonna look pretty. All right, now we in the 60K range. We sitting at $64,180, and like I said, what is that? That is about $46,000 from our all-time high of 100K in the portfolio. We was really at 110. I didn't get the screenshot, but I did close out the position, so that wiped the rate at 10K. So we was really trading at 100K. But yeah, man, like it's not really much to say. We're in the bear market, and my portfolio is extremely volatile. I addressed that clown in my comments in the last video. I ain't gonna keep speaking on it, saying too much about it. As I said, my form and my style of investing is not for everybody. I do not recommend anything I do. This is not financial advice by any means. But so the people that's gonna talk stuff in the comments saying, "Oh, how you go from 100 to 64?" Like, yo, you gotta understand, this is a long-term play. I don't rely on any of this money. This is strictly built out for my future. And yeah, this is the purpose is for my future. I'm not relying on this money. I do pretty well for myself, and yeah, there's really not much to say. We're in a bear market, And when the market does recover, or like specifically our MSTU position, when we go back to just breaking even and we get factor in those just recovery gains and we just recover, I'm going to be up at least 20K. Yeah, I'm going to be up at least 21K. That's just that break even. So if MSTU does push past the $5 mark, we're going to be seeing some drastic numbers. So you guys got to see and understand the long-term play. One thing I forgot to cover last week was how much I got charged in margin interest. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how much we got charged in margin interest. All right, so there we go. For the month of October to November, borrowing about $19,198, we got charged $87.78 in margin interest with an interest rate of 5.49%. So you guys know the Fed has been cutting rates at 25 basis points at a time. And hopefully we get our December cut, but that just means borrowing money is a lot easier. And if you're like me and you can handle and withstand a blow or a hit in the market, sell off, corrections, whatever the case may be, and even a market crash, you're going to be able to borrow this money and multiply your income. Even if your account is reflecting negative, when we go back to those all-time highs, when we start recovering, you're going to see and reap the benefits. So this is why I borrow money. I can handle paying about $90. Let's just round it up to $90 to borrow $20,000 to grow my portfolio and get into seize buying opportunities. So if you're like me, you guys got to understand the play. I think, what is our interest at currently? Let's see what our interest is at. Let's go to explore margin buffer. All right, so our interest rate is at 5.25. So if they cut by another 25 basis points, we're going to be at 5% interest rate for less than $50K borrowed on margin. You know, amazing, crazy, man. Obviously, you guys want to be responsible and understand how the margin works. If you guys don't necessarily know how margin works, I had a couple videos explaining, deep diving into my strategy around margin and how I use margin to grow the portfolio. As I said, every time I invest $1,000, Robinhood allows me to borrow $2,000 of their money. It's been a little bit different these couple of weeks because of my positions and how they're a little bit leveraged. So I put in $1,000. They sometimes give me about $4,000 to borrow against my leverage position. So yeah, you guys got to understand, man. Understand the play, play the long game, and you're not going to get wiped out. That's pretty much all I got to say, man. I don't want to make it too long. I hope this is not too long. Let's see what it comes up to. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you guys join up on the Discord. That is free to join. Make sure you guys hit a like, subscribe, turn on your post bell notifications, and tap the window. And I'm signing out.